Right now on Denver 7 News at 5 o'clock, more masks are coming down across the metro, and another county will consider dropping its mask mandate at a meeting today.
Ukrainians here in Colorado are worried about loved ones and fellow countrymen as more Russian troops move to the border. The U.S. is getting new intelligence now about Vladimir Putin's next moves. And the Rams are Super Bowl champions this year, but there are plenty of Colorado connections to the team, including, of course, Von Miller earning his second title.
It's been a crazy 365 days, man. The only way you can sum it up is, God is good.
Yeah, a Hollywood-style ending for Von Miller after he left the Broncos midseason. We're going to hear more from him shortly. Thanks for joining us. I'm Brian Sanders.
And I'm Nicole Brady. And more good news. It's a sunny Valentine's Day. Warm outside. Lisa is here. And Lisa, hey, those temperatures were nice over the weekend, but we should enjoy them while we can. Huh?
Yeah, another storm is going to hit by Wednesday. We're looking at now about a 3 to 5 day cycle in between some of these storms, but today is going to be one of the warm ones. Right now, we're just above freezing. You're going to find some low to mid 30s here in town. It feels like 27. Winds out of the southwest at around 5 to 10 miles per hour. And a good looking warm up. By lunchtime, we're already at 52. At that point, already about 7 degrees above normal. We're going to hit highs close to 60, so anywhere from 55 to near 60 up and down the Front Range today. Castle Rock mid 50s, close to 60 in Highlands Ranch. Look at Evergreen and Bailey, upper 40s to low 50s, so pretty warm even up and through the foothills. All right, fast forward about 48 hours from now, early Wednesday morning when we'll start to see some snow in the mountains, and that's going to move in across the plains. And so we'll be tracking this next midweek storm. I'll show you just how much colder it's going to get, Jason, coming up.
And we still have some icy spots from the weekend storm, from Friday's storm, so we still have in the neighborhood some re-energized slick areas and some ice and snow out there, so don't be surprised if you see some of those slick conditions. But the highways, for the most part, are clear and dry. Like here on 225 near Iliff, the light rails, for the most part, looking okay. But there's a handful of buses that have had no operator available today, so just check RTD's website before heading for your bus. This is Highway 36 over by Sheridan, looking just fine. Again, nice and dry in most of the major roadways, and you can see the overall drive looks pretty nice. I'm not seeing any significant delays on the travel times, which is the way we like it here, including here on I-70 out to the east side of town. So tour from the airport, that's fine. The Aurora Drive, whether it's on or off the highways, it all looks pretty nice.
Well, taking a live look at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, where it is all quiet this morning, but the lights are still bright. After a big day yesterday, the home team, the Rams, won the Super Bowl in incredible comeback fashion. They scored late to beat the Bengals 23-20. It's the Rams' first Super Bowl title since the 1999 season when they were in St. Louis. The Bengals are 0-3 now in Super Bowl appearances, but plenty of Colorado connections to the Rams. Stan Kroenke is the owner of the team. He also owns the Nuggets, Avalanche, and Rapids here. He also owns venues like Dick's Sporting Goods Park and Ball Arena, where he also has a penthouse on top. And what a year it's been for Von Miller. He was traded to the Broncos midseason to the Rams. The Rams pass rusher had 2 sacks in the game, and he earned his second Super Bowl ring.
I don't think I've ever played for more in my career, man. I was playing for DT. He passed away suddenly in December. I was playing for my son. He was born in August. Playing for Trevor Mowad. He passed away after the very first game of the season. Playing for all of my teammates here. There's so many hard workers, so many talented guys, so many guys on my team that was deserving of this moment, man, and it feels good to give it to them.
A little shout out to Demaryius Thomas there. 2 future Broncos coaches will also be coming here with a ring. Ejiro Evero is the new defensive coordinator for the Broncos, and Dwayne Stukes, the special teams coordinator. So maybe that experience will rub off on the team. We will see.
We'll see. Bars and restaurants were ready to host Super Bowl parties Sunday after Denver lifted mask mandates at the start of the month. Bengals fans packed into Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Wash Park. And while they were a little bummed about the outcome of the game, the bar's manager said they were just happy to see people together again.
It feels good to be back, serving people, taking care of people, and hanging out with our favorite regulars here.
Yeah, more counties in the metro are also considering dropping mask mandates. Denver 7's Colette Bordelon joins us from Boulder this morning. And Colette, the county is one of the few with rules still in place.
Yeah, and that could all be changing later today, Nicole. The Board of Public Health plans on hearing recommendations today from Boulder County Public Health about the 2 mask orders that are currently in place here. That meeting set to start at 5:30 this afternoon. Now, those 2 orders in place, one of them requires masks in all public indoor spaces for people ages 2 and up. They're also needed in schools and childcare facilities, along with things like camps for kids. Those were put into place in August and September of last year. Right now, Boulder County's website says they're experiencing a high level of transmission of the virus, but once that decreases to moderate or low levels for 21 consecutive days, masks won't be required indoors, unless, of course, a business chooses to keep those rules around. Now, state data shows Boulder County has had 11 days of declining or stable hospital admissions. Their positivity rate is just a touch higher than Denver County's. Denver County kids will drop the masks in schools in just around 2 weeks. Jeffco kids going back to school starting today without the masks. Live in Boulder, Colette Bordelon, Denver 7.
Yeah, hopefully the end of a strange era here. One thing the pandemic has taught us is to be aware of our own mental health. Mask mandates as they end. We talked to a psychologist who said some people may feel a little safer just keeping theirs on.
So if we feel more comfortable wearing masks, we should absolutely continue wearing masks. If we want that space between ourselves and someone else, we need to create that space, but we can't really impose what we want on the other person. And it goes the same way, the other way around, not to shame someone who wants to keep wearing a mask and throw numbers and research at them as to why this doesn't work or is ineffective or is unnecessary.
And she recommends just to keep a mask in your vehicle or your jacket pocket because some businesses will still require masks. Colorado Congresswoman Diana DeGette is leading a panel today about mental health. She serves as the chair of a House subcommittee in charge of overseeing the nation's top health agencies, and she'll be meeting with professionals and community leaders from across Denver today to talk about how the pandemic has heightened our mental health crisis.
Ukrainians across the country are organizing a day of solidarity to be held next Sunday in the nation's capital. They want to encourage peace and hope in the midst of so much uncertainty in their home country. We visited services at a Catholic church in Denver's Sunnyside neighborhood where Mass is in both English and Ukrainian. Tatiana Gajecki is worried about her friends and family in Ukraine who have told her they're afraid and asking for prayers.
We all have family, relatives, friends, all kinds of people that we know, and we don't want them to get hurt. They just want to be left alone and, and live normally like every other nation.
Meanwhile, Russia is amassing even more troops along the border with Ukraine. ABC's Ika Jachi has the latest developments from Washington.
This morning, Russia continuing its aggressive actions along Ukraine's border. Russian troops and heavy artillery performing massive military drills. U.S. officials say in the last 10 days, Russia has accelerated its buildup of forces. Putin now has an estimated 130,000 troops amassed on 3 sides of the country, with U.S. officials warning of a possible imminent attack.
It's likely to begin with a significant barrage of missiles and bomb attacks. It would then be followed by an onslaught of a ground force moving across the Ukrainian frontier.
And this morning, Ukraine advising airlines to avoid airspace over parts of the Black Sea out of safety. Still, attempts for diplomacy on display. Today, German Chancellor Scholz is in Kyiv, then off to Moscow. President Biden speaking by phone with Ukrainian President Zelensky over the weekend, making it clear the U.S. and its allies will respond swiftly and decisively if Russia invades. Zelensky asking the U.S. to provide even more military and financial support, even inviting Biden to visit the country.
We have good sources of intelligence, and they're telling us that, that things are sort of building now to some sort of crescendo opportunity for Mr. Putin.
Yet on the ground, a completely different sentiment. ABC's Ian Pannell is there.
There is no sense of panic here, but people are certainly planning and preparing in case the worst happens.
Despite the feeling on the ground, the State Department taking no chances, ordering all U.S. citizens to get out of Ukraine while they still can. And Canada announcing it's closing its embassy in Kyiv, and Australia today joining dozens of other nations asking its residents to leave. Ika Jachi, ABC News, Washington.
If you haven't filed your taxes yet, you may want to get on that. The IRS is already reporting a massive backlog. Plus,
I'm John Matarese. We've all seen prices rising lately on name brand products that we buy. But what about store brands? Our surprising findings coming up.